Another good win by the Indiana Fever today versus the Seattle Storm. But I got a big concern with Caitlin Clark, man. So looks like the Fever been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season. Fever do their thing in the playoffs. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With Caitlin Clark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of the regular.
So another day, another just weird situation, you know, with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever and people around the organization. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans. I'm like,
the reason why I was a little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, I mean, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? Yeah, she's a great basketball player. So
he literally said, and he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for Caitlin Clark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of a player playing basketball. I don't see there's an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was saying, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned the, you know, the fans coming on saying fire.
What do you get when Gatorade tries to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, but forgets who's actually paddling the boat? A flaming PR dumpster fire with extra electrolytes. Their Let Her Cook campaign, which felt like a slam dunk, was immediately met with ridicule and accusations of tone-deaf sexism. It was a perfect, cringe-worthy metaphor for how the entire WNBA ecosystem has handled its new superstar, with a stunning combination of greed and utter cluelessness. They want to profit from the phenomenon, but they seem fundamentally incapable of understanding it. And now, the very fans they've been courting have put...
is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order.
Let's start with the poll that should be framed and hung in the Indiana Fever's war room as a constant, terrifying reminder of their precarious situation. A simple question was posed to Fever fans. If Caitlin leaves the Fever, would you still support the Fever? With thousands of votes tallied, the answer was a landslide. The overwhelming majority, a number so high, it defies traditional sports logic, voted nope. My bags are packed. This isn't a whisper anymore. It's a full-blown rallying cry, a declaration of independence from team loyalty. These aren't your typical lifelong season ticket holders who bleed the team colors no matter what. These are the new converts, a massive global army of fans who were baptized and fully immersed in the Church of Caitlin. They don't care about zip codes, franchise history, or the name on the front of the...
Indiana Fever posted this about Caitlin Clark to give like the official what is going on with Caitlin's injury. So they said Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for Caitlin Clark. But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no...
And you can't blame them for having their bags packed, because they are reacting to the slow-motion sabotage they've been forced to watch all season long. The on-court mismanagement by coach Stephanie White has been bafflingly transparent and deeply frustrating. We've seen other players, like veteran Kelsey Mitchell, go 2 for 14 from the field, and the coach's response in the post-game press conference is a supportive, almost motherly. Keep shooting, honey. They'll fall eventually. It's portrayed as gritty veteran leadership. Meanwhile, Caitlin takes one contested three in crunch time, the exact kind of fearless, the game-bending shot that made her a global phenomenon. And she gets a public lecture about playing within the system and avoiding hero ball. Fans aren't blind. They see the blatant double standard, the clear favoritism, and they're not going to stick around to watch the only reason they bought tickets get systemically undermined and gaslit by her own coach.
You know, she didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season, and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking like, damn, you know, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You know, you play the regular season to get to the playoffs. Clark has missed, you know, most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, you know, a win is a win, whatever?
This isn't just happening on the court. There's a PR civil war brewing behind the scenes. Recently, a local reporter with close ties to the organization, Scott Agnes, published an article essentially blaming Clark and her massive fan base for creating a dark side and a struggle for the team. Let's call this what it is, a trial balloon. This feels like the organization testing the waters, leaking a narrative to see if they can shift the blame for their own dysfunction onto the very person who made them relevant. They're trying to paint her fans as a toxic burden, a convenient scapegoat for their coaching failures and locker room issues. But the backlash was swift and brutal. Fans immediately saw through the charade, recognizing it as a pathetic attempt to lay the groundwork for a future where they could justify not building around her. It was a massive miscalculation.
She's the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. Should be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
This is the monarch butterfly effect, and it's a concept that traditional sports executives are struggling to comprehend. This isn't fandom. It's a full-scale migration, and Caitlin Clark is the monarch. These people aren't packing Fever merch for their next vacation. They're packing portable allegiance. They don't care if she ends up in New York, Las Vegas, or the Bermuda Triangle. If CC is on the roster, they are all in. They didn't fall in love with Indiana basketball. Most of them didn't even know what a Fever was 6 months ago. They fell in love with one Iowa kid with Steph Curry range, insane court vision, and the charisma of a late-night talk show host. She made women's basketball must-see TV, and their loyalty is conditional. The unspoken contract is simple. We will give you
fair that she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us, and I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
The whole situation is a tragic comedy of the golden goose and the grumpy farmers. Clark arrived and immediately started laying golden eggs of unprecedented size. Charter flights for the whole league, a massive new TV deal on the horizon, sold out arenas in every city, and merchandise sales up a staggering 500%. Before her, as Clark herself pointed out, there was one sad concession stand at Fever games. Now, they're pushing 17,000 fans per game, and the franchise value has skyrocketed. And how does the old guard within the league and on her own team respond? With jealousy, cheap shots, and a coaching staff that seems more interested in humbling the rookie than cashing in on the golden eggs. It's like discovering a gold mine and then deciding to pave over it to build a strip mall because you don't like the guy who found it. The sheer illogicality of it is mind-boggling.
Fever Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. Since y'all want to make it about race, this white girl over here is the reason why fans are tuning in to watch the WNBA, not because of this.
What makes this entire situation even more tragic is that, by all accounts, Caitlin Clark wants to be loyal to Indiana. She has repeatedly talked about her excitement to play in front of the home crowd and her desire to build something special. She even cited her desire to have her first All-Star competition be in Indy as a reason for her commitment. She is doing everything right off the court to be the perfect franchise player. She's professional, she's engaging, and she has embraced the city. But her loyalty is being met with a level of mismanagement that borders on disrespect. This isn't a disgruntled star looking for a way out. This is a loyal star who is slowly being pushed out the door by an organization that seems fundamentally incapable of recognizing the gift they've been given.
One thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't get up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy, but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing.
This has turned into a full-blown hostage situation, and the fans are the ones making the demands. The Indiana Fever management had one simple job: don't screw this up. And yet, here we are, watching them seemingly try to micromanage a generational talent into irrelevance. The fans feel like they've been sold a bill of goods. You can't use her face to sell every product from Gatorade to garden hoses and then treat her like a glorified decoy in the actual game. That's not strategy, that's sabotage. The fans' message, delivered loud and clear through that poll, is now an ultimatum. Fix this, or we're taking our money and our attention elsewhere. If Caitlin leaves, we leave.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case. She said she wants her first competition to be in Indy at WNBA All-Star.
So what happens if she actually leaves? It won't just be a trade, it will be an extinction-level event for the Indiana Fever. The WNBA will experience the largest, most immediate fan exodus in its history. One day, you're playing in front of packed houses and setting viewership records. The next, it's crickets, and reruns of Ninja Warrior are pulling higher ratings. The entire ecosystem revolves around her. Take Clark out of Indiana, and that team goes back to being just another name in a box score, a forgotten franchise in a flyover state. Put her anywhere else, and that city instantly becomes the new epicenter of WNBA fandom. This isn't a threat from the fans. It's a promise. For them, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the entire product. And if she walks, the product goes with her, leaving Indiana with nothing but an empty arena and the ghost of a dynasty they fumbled away.